that simple to becoming the leader that Imam Ali alayhi salam was. Because at times, it's very sad that we take the message of our Ahlul Bayt and we make them too hard on ourselves. Some come, you know what, they say, I don't pray and I don't fast, but I want to be like Imam Ali. And if our Mahdi comes, I'm going to take a sword, I'm going to fight with him. I said, brother, you don't have the discipline to pray. How are you going to fight with Imam, with a sword and an army? How can you do that? It's illogical. Being a leader like Imam Ali alayhi salam was, takes baby steps, small steps to reaching that destination, that goal. It doesn't come easy. And I'll tell you what kind of steps you need to take to be able to come towards Imam Ali alayhi salam in small steps. Even the message of Imam Hussein. Some say, you know what, yeah, Hussein, and they cry and they shed blood and they shed tears. But Imam Hussein doesn't give them a proactive change. And guess what? That does nothing. That Imam should move us from within. We should look at our enemies in this world, people that hate us, and look at them and weep like Imam Hussein alayhi salam wept for his enemies in Karbala. That on that morning, Imam Hussein wakes up and he raises his hands and he says, Oh Allah, to you I have come today. Oh Allah, to you I want to come on this day. My fighting, my killing of my children and my friends and my everyone that's going to die with me is all for you. I've left everything for your love, oh Allah. And on that day, it amazes me when I think about it that Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he looks at his enemies who are there standing with swords and spears, who have killed Abdullah al-Radhi', who have killed the children. Yet Imam looks at them and he starts to cry. He starts to weep. And I say, my God, what a heart Imam Hussein alayhi salam must have had that he's able to look at these people and weep and cry for them. SubhanAllah. What an ability Imam had. That how far are we from these roles of our holy Imams? Imam Ali alayhi salam, since day one, chosen as a leader, through the life that he lived, through the actions that he had, he showed as a true leader he was. You know, there's a beautiful incident in the Battle of Khaybar, and this just never leaves my mind. Every time we speak about Imam Ali, I mention this because this incident never leaves my mind. Imam Ali salam is in the Battle of Khaybar, and he has just killed Amr ibn Awad. Sorry, just killed Marhab. Killed Marhab in the Battle of Khaybar. He slaughtered Marhab, he killed Marhab. Afterwards, the Jewish prisoners are took out of the castle. Some of the Muslims decide to tie the hands of the Muslims, of the Jewish captives with rope, and they tied it tightly around their hands. When they came out, they passed these Jewish captives by the bodies of the dead ones. When Imam Ali alayhi salam saw this, he started to weep and cry. He said, Imam, you just killed Marhab, the biggest fighter of all of the Jews. He was the strongest fighter, the most valiant fighter. This man was tall, strong, hefty. Anyone who came in front of him, he was annihilated, it was known. When Imam Ali alayhi salam at 18 years old came in front of him, he looks at the Imam and says to him, Ali, your father was my friend. I don't want to kill you. Just leave. I don't want to kill you. Imam looks at him. After this man has told him so, Imam looks at him with such strength and says to him, Marhab, I warn you, come towards the religion of Islam, or else Allah will punish you on the Day of Judgment. This is my warning to you. Usually some of us, when someone huge comes to us and says, you know what, don't do this or else I'll do this to you, say, all right, I'm backing off, I'm done. Imam Ali looks at him with such strength and says to him, you know what, no. I have Islam. Look at the identity. He says, I have Islam. I have Allah on my side. No matter who comes in my way, I'm going to keep going forward. And sadly, this is a mentality that I hope we all get. Because sadly, I don't see it in many of the communities. Inshallah, it's in this community. And we all need to work on having the best Islamic identity. That whoever comes in our way tries to degrade our religion, we're able to upstand it. We're able to move up with our religion and say, no, you know what? I'm a Muslim. My religion is as good as yours, if not better. This is the kind of strength we need to have. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, while he was in Karbala, The war is taking place. Everything is taking place. They're fighting. The armies are fighting. The men are attacking Imam, burning his tents. Imam has his sword out. He's fighting. He sends a messenger to Umar ibn Sa'd to him, tells them to stop because it's salah time. Everything stops. Imam alayhi salam stops the battle right away. And he goes and he performs salah. One of his companions looks at him and says to him, Imam, what do you mean salah? We're in the middle of the battlefield. He says to him, middle of the battlefield or not, the reason we're on this battlefield is for salah. If you don't perform this, then there's no point to this. You don't perform your salah, there's no point to this whole war. This whole battle can go to waste. There's no point because we haven't strengthened our salah. Imam Ali alayhi salam, you look at the morals that he played with, the morals that he used, the morals that were his rules in life, you find that they were outstanding. These same Jewish prisoners, after they were being took back as captives, Imam goes to his tent. And he sits inside his tent and he takes a piece of really hard wheat bread and he tries to break it with his knees, but he can't. And the army looks at Imam Ali and says to him, Ali ibn Abi Talib, you're the valiant warrior that just killed Marhab. And now it's time to break a piece of bread and you can't? What's this contradiction? He says to him, the reason I was able to defeat Marhab is for Allah. But this bread that I'm eating is for myself. Without Allah, I am weak. But when Allah is with me, then I am strong. We find that this is exactly what happened on the day of Ghadir. That because Allah has commanded and because Allah was with the Holy Prophet and with Imam, the message of Ghadir till today resonates in our hearts. That Imam Ali goes in front of 100,000, Prophet in front of 100,000 people, and he says, "Man kuntu mawla, fahada Ali mawla." Now some might say this, "Man kuntu mawla, fahada Ali mawla." Actually, the Prophet is just saying Imam Ali is my friend. Now these people, we don't blame them because the word mawla in Arabic has 23 literal meanings. Literal meanings, 23 literal meanings. How do we know what the Holy Prophet meant? Look at the statement before it. The Holy Prophet said, "Alastu awla," from the word mawla, bil muslimina min anfusihim. He put the word in direct context. Therefore, we're able to derive from this Ghadir Khum that Imam Ali should be master. Why? Because Rasulullah says, "Do I not have more authority over the Muslims than they do on themselves?" He said, "Yes, O Rasulullah." He said, "Then be witness. Whoever Ali is his mawla, then whoever I am his mawla, then Ali is his mawla as well." Holy Prophet put it in clear context. Not even Ghadir. After they came back from Ghadir, after they came back, the Holy Prophet sent everyone in the city out to war. He sent them out for the Battle of Tabuk. And he said, no man shall stay in the city except for Ali ibn Abi Talib. This was 2 years before the Prophet's death. Do you know why he ordered every man to leave? He knew that among these men were hypocrites. He wanted to pave the way for Imam Ali alayhi salam to take leadership. But what happened? They went out halfway and they came back. They said, "Rasulullah, you're putting us in the leadership of Osama bin Zayd, this 18-year-old general? How can you do such things to us?" And Rasulullah said in a clear hadith, the ones who do not follow Osama are cursed. If Rasulullah told them all to go because he wanted to pave the way in Medina for Imam Ali alayhi salam to take direct leadership. He wanted him to be able to take this direct leadership. Therefore, they went half the way and they came back. Because they weren't able to stand the fact that someone was going to take leadership like Imam Ali alayhi salam. Moving on from Ghadir Khum, you find that it's not only Ghadir Khum, but even Mubahala. Many of us decide to overlook Mubahala, but there's a specific numerical order in Mubahala that if you understand, it becomes one of the strongest dates and one of the strongest incidents ever in history. Follow these numbers very carefully. And for the ones who are writing them down, you should for sure write these numbers down. 23 years was the message of the Holy Prophet. 23 years. Mubahala happened on the 21st year of the Prophet's message. He died 2 years after Mubahala. So the 9th year of Hijrah, Mubahala happened. This was after 21 years of the message of Rasulullah. Do you know what this says about Mubahala? When he brings Fatima, Hassan, Hussein, Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhim as-salam, he is trying to say that after 21 years of me being with these people, I have found no one better to represent the religion other than these 5. 21 years of experience with these people. Because he dies 2 years later, after having 23 years of giving this message to the people. On the 21st year, Mubahala happens, and he brings none other than the 5 Ma'soomeen. He brings none other than Fatima alayhi salam, Al-Hassan, Al-Hussein, Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Why? The reason this is happening is because he is trying to say to the people that after 21 years of being with all of you, I have found no one better to represent the religion of Islam than these 4 with me. These 4 with me. Allah says in the Holy Quran, bring your women and we'll bring our women. Bring your children, we'll bring our children. And bring yourselves and we'll bring ourselves. Prophet brought Imam Ali alayhi salam as himself. He brought him to represent himself. This whole concept of leadership for Imam Ali alayhi salam, believe me, can be tackled day and night. Day and night can be tackled from every direction to prove that Imam Ali alayhi salam is a righteous leader. The main point that I want to get to is this. How do we bring leadership into our lives and make it an essential part of every youth and person who is older sitting here today? We always hear about Imam Ali's violent work. We hear about his valiance on the battlefield. We hear about his goodness, his giving, his kindness, his justice, his leadership. Imamat means leadership, and it's one of our branches in Islam. But how do we become leaders ourselves? Do we have to be owners of huge corporations and really big masajids for us to be considered leaders? How do we start to become leaders? The best way for each and every one of us to start becoming a leader is by doing the very, very simple things. And I learned this the hard way. Starting with very, very simple things in our lives. Looking at things around us and being able to do them when no one else has the decency to do so. I'll give you one example, simple. You're in the masjid. You're 10 years old, you're in the masjid, you're playing with your friends. And you see a piece of trash on the floor. Why should I pick it up? There's no reason I should pick it up. There's people already working. I don't need to pick it up. All my friends are playing. Everything is okay. Why do I need to pick this piece of trash up? There's absolutely no point. You're a brother, you're a sister, on the trash on the brother's side, on the sister's side. There's people already working. I don't need to do anything. Is this a sign of a leader? You know what? A leader would look at this. This is the simplest scenario I'm trying to draw it for everyone here. Because it can captivate the youngest person here, and it can captivate the oldest person here. That seeing a simple piece of trash on the floor and picking it up makes you the biggest leader. Do you know why? Because everyone else around you did not have the decency to do what you did. And you let people into that act. Therefore, from that situation, you have become a leader. A leader doesn't have to be on the big scale level. You don't have to be a president or a prime minister or the leader of a masjid or the leader of a community. You don't have to be that to become a leader. Become a leader from your own self. Lead yourself first, then you will be able to lead others. Leadership starts small, very small. Don't try to jump things ahead because things just won't work. Don't try to go too fast. If you have the ability to do so, go ahead. But starting small on simple scenarios. You see a friend of yours who's been having a bad day, and you're having a bad day. The simple reaction would tell you, he's frowning. I've been having a bad day. You know what? Just let it go. I'm not even going to talk to him today. The leader would say, you know what? He's frowning, and I'm also angry. But I'll fight myself, and I'll lead myself towards being able to smile to this person, and maybe the smile can make their day. You never know. Maybe this one simple act of kindness can change somebody's life. And in that situation, you've paved your road of leadership.